Hej och välkomna till ett nytt avsnitt av Coegin News. Jag heter Mi och idag ska vi titta närmare på den vävnadsreparerande peptiden för behandling av håravfall, FOL005. John Zibert ledde analysen av datan från Follicums kliniska fas 2a-studie av FOL005. John, vad kan du berätta för oss?
Hi, Mi. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. So what I will be presenting for you guys today is a sub-analysis of the clinical trial FCS003, which is a study of FOL005 and its effect in androgenetic alopecia. This presentation is for educational purposes. First, a little bit about the disease androgenetic alopecia. The disease is also known as pattern baldness or general hair loss. It's a disease that accounts for more than 95% of hair loss in men, and approximately 50 to 60 million men and approximately 30 to 35 million women are affected in the US alone. It is a disease that involves both the genetic inheritance of the disease, but also the fact that hormones plays a role, hence the name androgenetic. The disease is often characterized by gradual conversion of terminal hairs into indeterminate and finally into vellus hairs, as you see on the lower panel. And to the right side, you see different degrees of hair loss in both men and women. And you also see the characteristics in the skin, what actually happens, this conversion into these vellus hairs. If we look at the growth cycle of a hair, it goes from what is called the growth phase, which is an anagen phase. In this phase, the hair will continue to grow in approximately 2 to 6 years, and then a new hair will grow. The problem with the disease androgenetic alopecia is that decreased levels of vascularization, so that is the blood flow in the area, is resulting in that nutrients cannot actually reach the hair follicle, and hence it cannot produce the hairs. Furthermore, we see different kind of effects on these hairs over time that also involves an inhibition of actual hair growth. If we look at the existing treatments, they actually have few responders, and this represents a high unmet need for new treatments. The two drugs available are finasteride, an oral anti-androgen, so this is actually targeting the hormones that I mentioned before. It's taken once daily. And the response that has been seen with this drug is that after approximately 4 to 9 months, less than 40% of the patient will regrow their hair. And what the number of our hairs are actually regrowing per square centimeter, which is how we define hair growth, is between 7 to approximately 14 hairs after 4 to 6 months. The other drug is minoxidil, which is a topical applied, so something you put on your skin that stimulates the blood vessels, and it's applied daily to the scalp. The clinical response here is typically observed after 3 to 6 months, and again, around 40% of patients will regrow approximately, in this case, 5 to 30 hairs per square centimeter after approximately 4 to 6 months. The overall market represents these two drugs, one of which actually also have some side effects that are unwanted from patients. And then we can say that we actually have a high unmet medical need to actually have more treatments. And the market size of finasteride is estimated alone to be $3.2 billion in the USA alone. And for minoxidil, it's around $1.9 billion as well in US alone, estimated in 2024. The trial design of our study, called FCS003, was to test the safety and tolerability and efficacy of FOL005 in androgenetic alopecia. As you see on the right side, we had 3 different strains, 0.1%, 0.5%, and 1.5%. And then finally, we also had vehicle in one arm, which is no active drug in the formulation. This was administered once daily, so similar to minoxidil, and we evaluated the data after 4 months. 210 males were included in this study, so no women. Generally, we see that normal hair growth is considered when you have a density of hairs per square centimeters above 250 hairs. Hence, in this sub-analysis, we only looked at those that had less than 255 hairs per square centimeters in order to assess the efficacy of FOL005. The data showed that we could actually represent 40 to 42% of the whole trial population. And what we saw on the left side is if you measure the number of hairs in this square centimeter, we see a dose-dependent response. So the higher dose, the better effect. On the right side, we see these anagen hairs. So these are the ones that actually are in the growing phase. And we see that this also increases significantly. However, only for the 0.1 and 0.5% doses. We did, however, also see an effect or a tendency of effect of the 1.5% as well. If we look at the responders, we did see that in this population, there was more than 60% of responders in the active treatment arm. And this was also indicated by an increase in response if you had a higher dose compared to the lowest dose. So in summary, FOL005 was found previously to be overall safe and well tolerated. We also confirmed this. Patients with actual hair loss, so having a density of hairs below 250 hairs per square centimeters, identified as the optimized group for effect. And we did see an effect being dose-dependent of 0.1, 0.5, and 1.5%. And for the anagen growing phase, we saw it being significant for 0.1 and 0.5%. Furthermore, we also saw that we had a response rate of more than 60% in these groups. Overall, we did see that we had a hair count that ranged between 6 to 12 hairs per square centimeters at 4 months. With that, I'd like to say thank you so much. And personally, I do see a huge potential in this market space for FOL005. Thank you so much.
Mycket intressant, John. Vi ser fram emot att få höra mer om utlicensieringen. Tack för att ni tittade.